Greetings, this is the Timeshare Traveler. Today is episode 50, a survival guide for timeshare presentations, something everybody needs. So from an overview perspective, just be aware salespeople will push you both for logical reasons, but more often than not, it's at an emotional level why you need it. I'll go into each one of these in detail. Well, I recommend stick to the facts that matter to you, do your homework. The next thing, the reason I do them a lot is they offer perks, and the perks are worth it to me. Be aware that when you say no, there's often a trial package you can get, and that's sometimes worth it. A good timeshare presentation is one that offers education. And then I'll end with examples of why I upgraded and why I didn't, just to give you some greater context. Before I go into that, though, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my channel. Then I'm going to drive into each one of those topics in much greater detail. Hi, this is Cliff, and I'm your timeshare traveler. The goal of my YouTube channel is improving your timeshare travels. I'll do this through timeshare video reviews, tips for using timeshares, and much, much more. I can be found on Facebook at timesharetrav, Twitter at timesharetrav, and on the web at www.timesharetraveler.com. And if you like my videos, don't forget to click subscribe below. Now let's talk about the first topic, which is salespeople will push you on an emotional level. And it's probably the biggest reason you hear people upset and frustrated with timeshare salespeople. And it's normally you're taking a presentation, and it's a nice vacation location. It's a beautiful place, and all the timeshares have nice places to stay, or they wouldn't be in business. And the main thing they're going to talk about, which is true in my experience, if you buy and use, very important, use your timeshare, you will save money over the years of ownership. That's the facts that happen. All the things about, all the emotional things like price is going to go up, scarcity, you'll never be able to do this, all those things, and other, random things to make you sort of try to push you emotionally. Those are, I stay away from all that. That's usually the first sign that I'm trying to end the conversation. They don't tell you things like you need to plan ahead. Just like, trying to do any vacation, airfares are highest, if you wait too long. They don't tell you need to invest time to learn how to use a timeshare. It's just like any other capability. You have to learn to get good at something, and so that's really on you. And not everybody trying to tell you, they try to make it sound so easy, but the reality is it's work to learn how to use a timeshare. It should be enjoyable work, but it's work nonetheless. So again, that's my number one thing, is when they push me on an emotional level that I should do this because it's good for my kids, my grandkids, all these things that they use with my gray hair. They talk grandkids, but just don't fall for that. My next survival tip is stick to the facts that matter to you. What destinations matter to you, and does the timeshare company have a lot of your favorite destinations? If there's only one that you like, well, are you really going to go back to the same place over and over? And then if not, then it starts to be not that valuable. Commit to learning about timeshares before you buy, just like you would for a car or any other major purchase. You wouldn't just, you don't just randomly go to a car lot and just start driving a car. Does it have a stick shift? Do you know how to drive a stick shift? All those things that you need to do, the research before you do. Again, also write down what you want and what facts matter to you. Again, this is more to defense to the first point, which is when it's an emotional, you focus back on what matters to you and not let the conversation go to some place that matters more to the salesperson than to you. Ask the salesperson if they're an owner and why or why not. I actually feel more comfortable, and I find that the timeshare salespeople that are actually owners are much more knowledgeable, and they actually focus on education a little more because they're usually happy with why they do it, and they want that for you, and you can tell the difference. If the reason to upgrade is cruises, be wary of those. You can rent out your locations, all the extras. Extras are extras. They're not the main thing. If it doesn't make sense to have the timeshare and the timeshare on its own, then the extra things usually come at somewhat of a cost. So be wary of that. The next point is that timeshare presentations offer perks. You probably already know this because you're watching this video, but they always offer perks. Just so you know, whenever I get offered something, I always ask for double what they offer. I usually get more than what was offered by doing that, and I always take the points over any money. I calculate the value of points to stay at a hotel or a timeshare based on what they're offering, and usually it's quite a bit more than the $100 or $125 credit card that you can use one time for dinner. But I like to travel, and that's why I have timeshares. And so if I can get additional free travel as part of being educated on what they have to offer, I see what the most I can do. My next point is that trials are often offered when you say no. I'm always friendly. I'm never upset. Even though if internally I'm upset that someone's just trying to push me, I'm like, come on, I'm not gonna respond to that. But if you say no, often you can get a trial, and I recommend them. In fact, I've got multiple trials actually I'm doing right now. In fact, I've gotten, sometimes trials are basically the price of maintenance fees without having to own anything, so they're not a bad deal, and they don't mind selling to you, and it's part of my education, like test driving a car. So I don't see any reason to say wrong with saying no, and if they offer you, even ask, do you have a trial package, and see where that leads. The next point is that timeshare presentations offer education. Actually, often I will go into a timeshare presentation with questions about what I want to learn. And that sort of changes the conversation to one of value add. And it also puts the salesperson, if they really can't explain to you how to use the timeshare, then, really, they're not really adding a lot of value. So when it gets to being no, and they put up things, reasons why you must say yes, you say, really, you didn't know that much about it, and you don't say it meanly. You didn't know that much about it. So why should I buy from you? I don't see any value coming from you. Again, if they're trying to help you, then maybe it makes sense that you've come to the right place. That's the kind of person you want. If they just want your money, I walk away as quick as possible. Now for my last topic, which is probably one everybody wants to hear. I'll give you at least my reasons why I've upgraded and why I haven't. I upgraded or even bought the first time when I realized that in 7 years or less of usage, the savings of using the timeshare versus comparable stays during the same period. When I first got into timeshares, I actually tracked how much it would cost to rent the same unit I was in, and then I compared that to my maintenance fees, and I built a spreadsheet, and it actually took me less than 6 years. Now, I could have done better if I bought used. I didn't know that then, but in general, that's one of the reasons I've purchased or upgraded, and I've had them, all of my timeshares, more than 7 years, so I've more than paid for the initial investment, even if I invested more than I needed to. I also upgrade sometimes, like the current one, Hilton Grand Vacation Max. I upgraded because I got some additional points. My maintenance fees didn't change, and I was grandfathered in to the HGV Max when it was announced. So that is rumored to have saved me $7,000 to do that. So that was a reason. Another reason on the Marriott side is I was promised Platinum membership, which I didn't have in either the Marriott or the Vistana. I was promised that, and that means a lot to me because I stay in hotels. I'm a West Coast swing dancer, so I dance at hotels, at events, and if I can get a free breakfast, and sometimes they have a free dinner because Marriott hotels often have dance conventions at them, that saves me, $60 a day, or unless I'm eating peanut butter sandwiches, but it saves me a whole meal. And usually I can take a friend of mine with me to have a free breakfast and a free afternoon dinner. So that was worth it a lot for me. Another reason is my WorldMark I upgraded to where I don't have to pay cleaning fees, and that allows me to stay for 1 or 2 days and not worry about having to pay the $160, sometimes as much as that, for cleaning fees. And I also upgraded another time because I had bought some used points, and I was able to upgrade and count those points now as legitimate, and that actually moved me to the next level of elite status, and that was worth it for me. The benefits for that were worth it to me. Why I didn't upgrade? They come up with schemes like, oh, you can rent out your timeshares. That's just buy more and have another job. Well, I don't want another job. Maybe I want that job, but that's my choice, not because of reason to upgrade. And I never upgraded because of the perks with cruisers, because I actually did a translation of how many maintenance fees it takes to rent a cruise using your fees, and it turns out it's often cheaper to buy directly from the cruise line. So use the timeshare for what it's good for, which is staying at timeshare. Sometimes all these transfers and translations, even though it's convenient, it's actually costing you more money. So I've never upgraded for that reason. Another reason is if the person doesn't really want to understand about me and isn't trying to solve my solution, they're just trying to push the standard thing that they only know what they know and that's all they're going to do, then I usually walk away as quick as I can. And if they start to pressure me, prices going up soon, I just say, give me a break. Housing costs are up, food are up, everything's going up over time. So that's not the reason I need to buy. Help me find better things. Anyway, I hope you like this How to Survival Guide for timeshare presentations. And if you enjoy this, please don't forget to subscribe.